Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I don't need to tell you that being able to retire nowadays is more challenging and difficult than it has been ever before. And that's because the rules have changed for a variety of reasons. It used to be that retirement planning was pretty straightforward. You worked for a company, say, for 30 years, and they would reward your loyalty with a golden watch and a pension plan at the end. But I don't need to tell you that those days are gone. Absolutely, on every level. Pensions are a thing of the past, as well as a number of other things. But we're not without hope. There are ways that we can still retire even though the rules have changed. And so I'd like to talk about those things and see what it is that we can possibly do to strengthen our chances of being able to retire, even though we're facing challenges like never before. Number one, you really can't rely upon anyone else other than yourself. It used to be that you could count on the government, or you could count on your company, or you could count upon other sources outside of yourself, but those days are gone. A generation ago, a lot of workers were able to retire with a guaranteed pension. Today, only about 25% of American workers have access to a pension. And this would be government workers, federal employees, military personnel, state workers, local government, so forth and so on. But for the rest of us, about 75% of American workers, there is no guaranteed pension plan. And so the retirement responsibility falls 100% upon you or upon us. And what that means is it's up to us, no one else. It's up to us to save money, to get ourselves out of debt, to contribute to a 401k if we have access to one. It's up to us to open an IRA. And then, of course, all of these tools can be supplemented by our Social Security when we become eligible. And here's why it's up to us to do all of these things ourselves. No one is coming. No one is coming to save you. No fairy is going to show up at the end of your life and magically make things work out. That is not going to happen. And so it is 100% up to us to make it happen. So number one, you can't rely upon or count on anyone else other than yourself. Number two, there's now a longer life expectancy. On average, people today are living longer than they have in previous generations. That means that your retirement could last 20 years or longer. For instance, if you retired at 62, it's quite likely that you will live until you are 82 or 85 or maybe even longer. So this isn't a short phase. It is a big chapter of our lives, 20 years or so. Now, with that in mind, we have to ensure that we have the financial means to last that long, because it's not a 5-year retirement unless, God forbid, you drop dead shortly after retiring. But for most of us, this is a big chapter of life, 20 years or more. So it's up to us to provide the financial means for that big chapter of life, which leads me right into point number 3. The new retirement has become work optional for a lot of people. A lot of retirees nowadays are choosing to work part-time in their retirement years to supplement their income. A lot of people are also choosing to pursue an encore career. An encore career is something that you might have liked doing when you were younger, but for whatever reason you didn't choose that career, you went this way, but now that you have retired, you're going to do it you're going to choose that encore career just out of the pure enjoyment of it. In other words, whatever you choose to do in working, work has become work optional for retirees today. This is about finding something that you enjoy doing. It's not about survival. There's a big difference between working for the pure enjoyment of it or having to work just to make ends meet. This could even mean a retirement hobby that has turned into a moneymaker. And I've spoken about this numerous times. My wife has some retirement hobbies that she has turned into moneymakers. And it's a great supplement to her retirement income. Another option is something that I call recreational employment. This is something that you would choose to do for the pure recreation of it and make a little cash doing it. I've always thought how fun it might be to be a tour guide in a national park or national forest, or maybe even a museum, or to be a deckhand on a fishing boat. I live here along the Gulf Coast, or near the Gulf Coast, and about 30 miles from here we have these marinas and deep sea charter fishing boats, and they really go in, and the peak of the season is during tourist season, and they're all the time looking for deckhands, somebody inexperienced even, that can just help with the hooks and sinkers and fishing poles, who can put the fish in the ice chest and clean the deck. I've often thought how great it would be to hire myself out as a deckhand on a charter fishing boat, 2 or 3 days out of the week, go offshore, catch a ton of fish, get a good Florida tan, come back in and come home with an ice chest full of meat as well as a little extra cash. Or if you're a musician, you could get yourself a side gig playing your instrument and maybe even make a couple $100s a week. You get the idea here. The point here is you don't have to work if you don't want to, but you can choose to work. And you can do so just for the personal enrichment or the pure joy of it, and make a little cash on the side doing it. Now listen closely to this. Working in retirement is perfectly fine as long as it doesn't become the main event. Can I say that again? Working in your retirement years is perfectly fine as long as it doesn't become the main event. Now, of course, there's always going to be somebody who comes along and says, well, if you're working in retirement and earning money, then you're not really retired. And my response to that is, says who? You? The tooth fairy? I mean, where is that written down in tablets of stone that a retiree is not allowed to earn some extra money because if they do, they're suddenly unretired? I can't think of a more foolish statement than that than I've ever heard. And I get those kind of comments here from time to time. But in rebuttal, let me ask a question. If you have investments and those investments are increasing in value, does that mean because you're now earning some money that all of a sudden you're unretired? Or more to the point, if you spend 3 or 4 hours a week looking at the market and then you start moving some stuff around to optimize your earnings, does that mean that you're not retired or that you're unretired? I'll say it again. Working in your retirement years is perfectly fine as long as it doesn't become the main event. Because you see, the rules have changed. Retirement is not a one-size-fits-all anymore. It's a personal decision that each of us has to make, and you get to define what your retirement looks like. Know why? Because it's your retirement. It's nobody else's. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says about the journey that you have chosen for yourself. Number 4, another rule in the new retirement is people are retiring when they have enough, not waiting until they have more than enough. People today are just seeing the light. They are pulling the trigger and stepping down into the best journey of their life when they reach the threshold of just enough money to retire, instead of hanging on year after year, after year after year, in a relentless accumulation of money. The idea of having millions of dollars in the bank is being replaced with simply having enough. It's about downsizing and cutting your expenses and living a simpler life and getting out of the rat race as soon as possible so that you can pursue a life of complete freedom and autonomy. In other words, once you have enough, there's no need to continue working for more money that you probably don't even need. If you keep working for more money than you actually need, you're sacrificing the best years of your golden years at a time when you are actually running out of time. And I will tell you this, I retired on a modest income, far less far less than $1 million, and yet I am totally free, totally liberated. I don't think I'll ever have to go back to work again. I have enough to last the rest of my life, and I am living the best chapter of my life right now. It is possible and it is doable. Let me say it this way. You can retire on almost any amount of money. It just depends upon what you're willing to accept as a lifestyle. And then that leads me to point number 5. Our health and quality of life matter now more than they ever have. The new retirement isn't just financial and hanging on to at work, earning more than you need. It's physical and emotional. Our health is the very foundation of our lives, whether you're working or whether you're retired. And when it comes to retirement, if you don't have your health, then hanging on for all those years for all that extra money doesn't matter that much anyway, except to pay the medical bills. This is why the new rules of retirement focus upon lifestyle choices, our fitness, health, strength, outdoor recreation, quality of life, quality of relationships, as well as our mental well-being. This is not just about living long lifespan, it's also about our health span. How many years of those 20 years are going to be healthy years? Our health span is critical at this point. Your retirement years are going to last some 20 to 25 years, and that's not a short break. That is a whole chapter of life. So we want our health to last as long as possible, and getting out earlier rather than later increases our chances of that. Okay, so let me wrap this up with a word of encouragement. On this channel, I just want to be a source of encouragement to everyone who views the videos on this channel, because retirement life is so great that I believe everyone deserves a shot at it. Now, for you, retirement might feel like that it's completely out of reach. And maybe according to the old rules, it is. But I want you to know that you have options. You have other options. And there's a lot of flexibility in the new rules of retirement. I'd like to read to you a comment that was left to me recently on a previous video. If I remember correctly, it's from Tennessee Cowboy 2012. He is 6 months from retiring, and he said that what he is looking forward to most about retiring is catching up on my rest, polishing up on my cooking skills, and visiting all of the North Carolina barbecue trail locations that I have dreamed of visiting for most of my life. And if I can do that, it will make me happy. There you, quote unquote. There you go. This guy is 6 months from retirement. He's looking forward to his retirement, and he doesn't envision himself traveling to Europe or spending a month in Tuscany somewhere or buying a second home on the beach in Florida. He just wants to catch up on his rest, improve his personal cooking skills, and become a barbecue connoisseur. And I've said all that to say this. If living a simple life like that in retirement is enough to make you happy, then I want to tell you, it doesn't take $1 million to retire. Hey, I don't have all the answers, but you know what? You've got options. You really do. Well, that's all for now. I'd like to thank you for stopping by. If this video and this topic has touched something deep down inside of you, leave me a comment down below and tell me what your retirement looks like and how it is that you have been able to retire despite the rules having changed. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit that thumbs up button that you'll find down below. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Ronnie. Take care, and we'll see you next time.